All right, so I welcome you all once again to today's class. This is Target Professional Concepts, led by Target. Today we are going to look out for one of the important analysis. It's also form part of the external analysis. We have so far looked at for the external analysis in the wider view. We are not going to look out for the narrow view. You see, if we start the environment, when you say external or environmental analysis, now when you start like that, there are basically two sections. We have the general or wider or macro. They also have what you call narrow or micro or narrow environment. We normally call it industry analysis. Industry or competitive analysis. That is what you're going to look out for. Competitive analysis. And here there are two models. That's all. Tell the examiner there are two models here. Market Porter's Diamond and Pesto. Here the models are more than 10. Here more than 10 models. Boston Consulting Group. So I'll take my time and list all the models here in today's class. So in today's class, we only have to go deeper into the industry analysis. So please take notice of the industry analysis. So let's go straight to the game. So today we are looking for industry. And what? Competitive analysis. It's part of the external environment. When you say competitive analysis, here it's about competition. How does the entity compete successfully in the industry? What are the tensions? What are the tension in the industry? So if you check the telco industry, what are the tensions? Yes, you are going to have a case study on banking industry and other industry. There will be one industry that is due for examination. So if that one comes next, it's in the banking industry come next. If the banking industry comes this, it's in the next one. You see, we have started the thing already. So please, let's try and know much more about industry. The industry. So you're going to look out for industry or industrial analysis. First, to talk about the industry or the industrial analysis, we need to talk about here, at the end of the day, you must know the concept of customer, market, industry, sector, convergence, and then using the 5 forces to analyze competition, and then a different phase of product life cycle. Last certain 6 marker question was pulled from here. So your last certain question came from this angle. So objective of this chapter, objectives of this chapter, you must know one, you must know, explain the concept of customers, know the concept of, wow, the concept of what? Customers, comma, markets, the market in which the organization sells its products. The industry they belong to, industry. So industrial behavior. And then the rest. Again, you must know how to use in fact, you must also know sectors. Number two, the use of competitive analysis. Competitive. AKA Michael Porter's 5 forces. That's the leader. From there, this is what came last sitting. So you see, we are arranging how your question have to be set. State the different phases of product life cycle, considering cost implication at each stage. So, stages in product life cycle. And strategically, what do you have to do? And cost what? Implications. And cost implications. That's all. So product life cycle. So last thing, no wonder it came for 6 marks. So please, and that product life cycle there, it has a dual citizenship. We have models that, hey, anywhere they feature, product life cycle is number 1. Boston Consulting Group is number 2. Anywhere at all they feature, anywhere you can use them, both external and internal. They did. Good. So take notice of that. Now let's go. Then you must also understand Boston Consulting Group. We normally use that one to analyze product portfolio. So the concept of what? Understanding BCG matrix and how to use it to analyze product market portfolio. Take notice. You must first of all understand, know how to analyze. Boston Consulting Group and how to use it to analyze on what? Product market portfolio. Product market portfolio. Product market portfolio. Take notice. Finally, when you are done, you must know OT is a component of SWOT, opportunities and threats. That's all. So these are the model. And then you must also know strategic group analysis. Yeah, strategic. It's also part. So these are the models. So as soon as you learn this model, forget it. See, in exams, you see, let me even finish this and go and sleep comfortably. Next thing, the exams you are going to write. So far, some of the stuff we have done, models will come up, will be picked from there. So take notice of that. So to conduct industrial analysis, it's not only on Michael Porter's 5 forces, please, it goes beyond that. To conduct industrial competitive analysis, start from customer, market, industry, sectors, before the 5 forces we even get chance of what? Coming in inside the picture. So now, first of all, you must know customer, consumer, and markets in summary. So customers. So the first entry point of industrial analysis is what? Customers, markets, and what? Consumers. Consumers. So you must know the meaning of markets, customers, consumers. One may ask, what's the difference between customer and a consumer? No problem. So markets, as usual, a place where buying and selling takes place between vendors and customers. So many ways of defining market. You see, market is where customers normally meet their buyers. So a place where customers meet. Market can be what? Traditional. It can be global. It can be localized. Take notice. Market can be digital. It can be online. So this is what you are doing. We are at ICA market too, obviously. This is a particular market. Seller, we are here. Buyers, they are also online, obviously. Then now we are interacting. That's a market. So they are diverse market that we have to take note. So if we are going to analyze industry, we must start from the market. We must start from where? The customers. Please, the external environment contains only 2 things: the larger view and the smaller view. We are done with the larger view in the earlier study. So please, if you have not watched the video, go through and watch all the videos. With the smaller view, you have to start from where? The customers. Then the customer is a person or entity that purchases goods. Consumer is the one that used or consumed. That's the difference. So please get the difference clear for me. Customer is the one that buys. Consumer is the one that consumes or use. That's all. That's ends there. I can buy a product from you, but I'm not the one going to consume it. I can give someone else to consume it. It's a consumer. You see, if I stay in a family home, either you are a consumer or you are a customer. You see, sometimes you go, the food is ready. A lot of drinks are in the fridge. You consume them. Especially hot afternoon, you enter house, you see a very nice chilled drink. You see a very nice chilled drink. And in fact, your money is in your pockets at that time. Consuming such drink is so nice because at that time you're a consumer. You're only what? Using it, not a buyer. So get the difference. Now we have explained market, customer, and what? And consumer. They form the industry. They make the industry very attractive. So the next thing we must learn is the industry. This place. This is buyers. And this is users, end user. That's all. Now, putting all this together, we now have what we call industry. And sectors. What's the difference between industry and a sector? So they can ask you to conduct industrial analysis or sectorial analysis, sectors. Analyzing different sectors. That is all. Analyzing different sectors. So let's go. You see, we've started from the scratch. We did not just jump into conclusion that we are conducting industrial analysis. No. In the state examiner, the industry does not exist. If customers does not exist, if market does not exist, if a consumer does not exist, and if the product does not also exist, or the producers does not exist. So before we jump into industrial analysis, we have to appreciate the existence of the key players in the industry, or the key ingredients, the stakeholders in the industry. The product. Why is it that if you enter into a certain industry, the manufacturers have a final say, like the health industry, the health market. You see, if you go to the health industry, the producers, they have what? The final say. But if you come to the teaching industry, the consumers have the final say. Then you selected the tuition center. You selected the book that you want to buy. If you are not feeling well and they take you to the hospital, we'll be able to decide the kind of drug you buy at the time that the ambulance is moving. No. So they will always have what? Controlling power. So analyzing industry, must know one, customers in that particular industry, the producers in that particular industry, the markets. Then when you are done putting all this together, we now have what? Industry and what? Sectors. So I don't need to just go straight and start analyzing the industry without hitting the main point, the main ingredients that make the industry. Now, industry consists of what? Companies that produce similar goods and services. That's all. So industry consists of what? Companies that produce similar. So let's take industry like health industry. If we take the health industry, we have individual companies that come together to make the industry as a whole. So NS Chemist, Poku Pharma, they are the pharmaceutical industry. Yes, pharmaceutical industry. And they have to drop one case study on them so that I'll be happy. The pharmaceutical industry or related. So take notice of industry, how they look like. Yes. Within an industry, there may be sectors or segments. So an industry segment is separated and identified part of larger industry. So let's say, you see, with that of the health, we can divide the health into those that produce the medicines, herbal medicines and what? The orthodox and then the rest. So within an industry, we might have what? Segment. Segment simple mean we can now group them into what? Either smaller component or larger component, depending on the characteristics. Good. Now, what is the difference strategically? What is the difference between products and markets? Product and market. product and market. And I'm going to make, please go beyond. Don't just tell us that product is the final outcome. Market is where we sell the product, please. We understand the market is where we sell product. Let's go a bit higher. Strategically, when they ask you to make a clear distinction between products and market, and its market, is that, you see, some industry produce different, two different industries produce two different products, but they can sell them in the same market. What a wow. So that is what you have to know, that market can contain diverse products coming from different industries. So take notice of this, that companies in different industries may sell their goods in the same market. Can I give you an example? Let's give an example. Check the real estate. The real estate, building contractors. Yes. In the real estate is an industry. Those that sell small tools, building blocks, they sell tools, the construction materials. You see, all of them are in the same market. Even though they are different altogether. Those that manufacture wheels and the rest. So all what you're trying to say is that companies in the different industries, they can sell their product in the same market. Like when you go to your hospital, ideally they're supposed to produce everything about health. But why are they selling food and other stuff at the hospital? Some of the hospital, they have other different unrelated products coming to the same one, but they react in a way. So take notice. Companies in the same industry might not compete because they operate in a different market. Good. Take notice, though, we have companies that are in the same industry, but they don't compete. Give me an example strategically. We have companies that are in the same industry, but they never compete. Give me an example. The same industry, but they don't compete. Strategically, companies that are in the same industry, Now, have you seen, the Pantu? The Pantus on the Volta Lake is a typical example. There are a lot of Pantus. They're in the same industry, but they are not competing. Everybody have its way. So, for example, they are in the same industry. The Pantus are in the same industry. They are on the same lake. All of them have their roots. Even though on the same Volta Lake, some go to Kumasi, some are going to Yendi, some are going to different destinations. So even though we did the same thing, my angle is different, your angle is also different. That is how it can work. We can be in the same industry, not necessarily that we are competing. The reason being that the market in which one serves is different from another market. So at the end of the day, the competition is not all that high. So take notice. So in the analysis of strategic position, management need not to recognize which industry or the segment they operate in. Yes, but they have to know the changes in the industry. Now, type of industry, take notice of this. In the case study, when ICA or ACC or CIMA release the case study, and you are analyzing it, these are the things you must jot it down. Which type of industry? So we are going to learn industry. I've talked about industry already. So I'll deal with the types of industry. Know the types of industry so that when we start the industrial analysis, you get it. When you talk about industry, yes, the very first type is called emerging industry. There are 5 types of industry that you must know. 5. The first is called emerging industry. Emerging is a newly created industry. Emerging. Can you give me an example of emerging industry? Newly created industry. Which one is that? Emerging industry. Give me an example of emerging industry. The one that came just recently. Airspace travel. Yeah. Simple example. Newly created industry. That is something that newly created or developed industry. Simple example. I.e. the airspace travel. Airspace travel. Was it there in olden days? Do people travel by airplane? Now, even from here to Tamale, you can go and come. From here to Sunyani, you can go and come. Cape Coast, you can go. Takrady, Accra to Takrady. Intercity moving with airlines have become so prone. It's an emerging what? Industry. It wasn't something that was there in the olden days. In the olden days, if you want to travel and move faster, either you have to go by boat, train, or horses. Yes, and Tata bus. Good. This one, you understand. Now you can also have what you call fragmented industry. So fragmented industry, take notice of fragmented industry. What industry is that? So when case study is being given to you, know the type of industry you are dealing with. Fragmented industry. Now with this industry, when they say the industry is fragmented, it means that the firms are small and they sell smaller portion in the total market. So like that industry is choked with what? Small firms. So industry with small firms, and it's choked. Small firms, and they sell small portion of the total market. Now there's no market leader, and sell small portion of the total market demand. So that one, there's no leader. Tell the examiner. Do industry, okay, there's a question here for me if I move on. It says that, do industry differ from jurisdiction or location? Yes. Industry differ from jurisdiction and location. Jurisdiction here is talking about countries. Yes. Some countries, how their industry behave is different from other countries. Some countries learn from other countries. Typical example, if we take the airline business, now elsewhere, airline booking can be done anywhere, can be done express. That's how the industry look like. Some of the industry have moved advanced, but in other locations, it has not moved advanced because they discovered that industry late or last. Yes. So take notice of that. Yes, industry can have differences with respect to their location. Location matter when the industry. Have you ever taken let me ask you a practical question to answer your question. Have you ever taken a car from Osu? Have you ever taken a car at Choco, Jamestown? And have you ever taken a car from Machimota New Station? Check the experience and thank me later. Have you ever taken a vehicle from, let's say, where? Mamobi against what's the name? Against East Legon. Have you seen? Some of the cars that moved on certain routes, they followed a certain structure. So that is that. All right, so that is the first industry. There was a case. Let me see if I can project the case. There was a case that examiner said that the tourism industry is fragmented. That was one of your ICA case study. In the case, the examiner told them the type of industry. That's then you pick it up. If you know the type of industry, it will help us to conduct a very good analysis. So fragmented industry is the industry that one, everybody controls smaller portion. Everybody controls smaller portion. There's no one who is ruling us. There's no giant person. Let me give it a simple example. Have you seen the tomato sellers? Tomato sellers, they are fragmented. Everywhere you go, there's a lot of plenty tomato sellers. And everybody covers what? Smaller portion of the total market. Everybody, tomato sellers. Now, typical example is what you call the dry cleaning service, hairdressing service, shoe repairers. All these are what? Fragmented what? Industries. Hairdressers and shoe repairers. You see? For them, there are many. Everywhere you go, you find them. Pure water sellers, the water sellers. All these industries are industries that are choked with a lot of smaller firms. Small. No one is big in that industry. All of us are small. And we are many. And we are competing on the same profit. So the total profit of the firm, that's of the industry, that's what's shared by them. And here competition is not tight. No. Competition is not tight. And there's no differentiation. One way. No differentiation. In fragmented industry, no differentiation. Go to the local market. Those are selling tomatoes. The same. Everything the same. There's no differentiation. Check the pure water sellers, the hawkers on the street. Check. No differentiation. So that is what you call fragmented what? Industry. And each of them controls smaller portion. Small. You can never control big. There's no single pure water seller on the street of Accra can control the entire pure water sellers of Accra. No, it can't be possible. So street hawkers is typical example of what? Fragmented industry. No one can control the industry. You only control smaller portion. You also have what you call mature industry. Mature industry. Yes, this one is like matured common entrance exams. They are matured. So we have number 3, matured industry. Please, it opposes the emergent industry. Emergent industry is the newly created. Matured one is the one that has reached the maturity. They are operating at the maturity stage. Maturity stage of the product life cycle. They are the maturity stage of the product life cycle. Example is the automobile industry. And then the soft drink manufacturers. Automobile industry, those that manufacture car. Those that manufacture car, they are the people. Look at the car they are manufacturing now. Compare that one to the olden days car. See, there's a vast difference. Compare the first Pajero produced by Toyota to the V8, the new versions of the Pajero, the V8, the latest, let's say 2023 models that they are releasing, and tell me the difference. It tells you that the automobile industry have reached a certain stage of their product life cycle, and they have reached the maturity. As the airspace are also now starting from where? From emergent, they are now also coming. So know the industry. Yes. I'll list some industry for you to conduct analysis in which we have to get one of them. They also have declining industry. Which industry is that? Declining industry. I can give you one. Charcoal manufacturers. Declining industry. And then the rest. So let's go. Number 4. Declining industry. Industry that's going down. So take notice of that. Declining industry. And then we have the global industry. And then we have the global industry. The last one is called global. The global industry is the one that operates globally. That industry, in fact, is global. It operates everywhere. Typical example is the football clubs, the professional football clubs, the football industry. See the football industry, the FIFA. FIFA is the whole world, right? Yes. And then the CAF from Africa. And then the rest. So take notice of global industries. Then sometimes there's a convergence. Yes, for strategy purposes, there can be convergence. Take notice. Convergence simply means 2 or more different industries coming together. Convergence. What is the idea behind? 2 or more different industries merging. What's the rationale behind it? Imagine the pharmaceutical industry and then the health sector are merging together. Imagine the TV stations are merging with what? With radio stations. You see? That's what you can see now. Almost now all the radio stations, they now have TV. So they do what you call live. So now if you're on the internet, you can still watch the news. Previously, we listened to news, but now we are watching news. Even on what? On radio station, we are watching live. So that's the merging industry, merging the TV, radio, broadcasting in one word dimension. All right, so I've talked a lot about this, and we move on with the game. Now let's go to competition, industry competition. And here, that is where I have to list all the models that you need to know. So first thing is to know Michael Porter's 5 forces. We call it industry competition. Please, there's something unique about the 5 forces. We are going to break it down. Something unique about it. That one, I want you to take notice of it. So on that note, I've talked about industry. Now I can introduce you to comfortably to what we call industry competition. And what model do we use? To be specific, we use Michael Porter's 5 forces. So use Porter's 5 forces. Porter have done what? I've done so well to the management industry. He's a good philosopher, professor from Harvard. Yes. He's still alive. Born in 1974, so yeah. So he has contributed a lot to the management industry in terms of competition. His area of interest, he normally focused more on gaining competitive advantage. So he wrote a full book. He wrote a full book on Diamond, National Competitive Advantage. A full book on competitive advantage. Grab a copy. And it is fine. So we are going to use Michael Porter's 5 forces to analyze the industry competition. You see, Michael Porter's 5 forces is going to tell us 3 things. That's the unique 3 things about the industry. 1, 2, 3. So anytime you are conducting industrial analysis, 3 things you want to know. And thank God, Porter's 5 forces, in fact, it's a very good model that can tell us all these 3 things. So industrial analysis, things you have to look out for. First thing that we have to look out for is what we call long-term attractiveness of a particular industry. Why is it that when the mobile money business came, everybody entered into it? You see, we are in era where when one product comes, everybody enter. And when they enter by force, you see that some people drop off and some will still remain. Use Michael Porter's 5 forces to analyze that. Some of the industry in the long run is very attractive. So if we are to conduct industrial analysis, we must conduct 1, the attractiveness of a particular industry. Mobile money business, pure water business, a time came. Good. A time came where all those who have little money or like want to enter into manufacturing, the first place they enter is what? Pure water manufacturing. Yes, a lot of them entered into the pure water manufacturing. And they went into it. And then my time also came. Now, everybody wants to open TV station and radio station. It has also entered. So what is causing the attractiveness? So you can pick a particular industry If you are analyzing them, we must first start from the industrial attractiveness. There's something in the industry that is attracting people, making people like coming. That is why a lot of people are joining. Hey, it can be easy operation. Some industry is not complex at all. Some industry is not complex at all as compared to the other. Why is it that mining of gold and oil has the money, oil money, is very lucrative, it's very attractive, but yet still only few players are in the industry. It tells you that there's something there. So that is what we are going to analyze. The industry. Some of the industry, it is very attractive, but it's called don't go area. We don't go there. Some of the industry is not attractive, but a lot of people are going there. It's not attractive at all. Their profit margin is very low. So take notice of the industry attractiveness. Then number two, you talk about the profitability of that industry. These are the things that attract people into a particular industry. The attractiveness and profitability. Why do you set up a business? They say that, oh, for me, it's not because of money. It's not because of profits. So are you Father Christmas or you are an NGO? Then why can't you set an NGO? There's no commercial company that will hide under this, that will come and tell us that the aim is not to make profits or the aim is not to increase shareholders' wealth, but rather to produce, to make sure that the welfare of the people are in good shape. No, that one, we change the business model to what? NGO. So profitability, that attracts. So some of the industry is very profitable. Compare farming industry, very profitable. Yes. Compare farming, compare mining, compare oil and gas industry, oil money. Yes, oil money. Try and first and get some of the oil money, okay? Yes, oil money. And then the last one we have to look out for is what we call competition. What a wow. Competition in that particular industry. Every industry compete. In fact, they compete. Yes. Every industry. The only industry that the competition you don't see it is in the audit firms. Audit firm compete, but they compete strategically. Who have ever seen audit firm making an aggressive advert? Come and tell me. And tell me that kind of audit firm. Competition in audit firms are by what? By work, by reference. So that is so. So now, let's start. So Michael Porter's 5 forces, the aim is what I've written it here for you. The aim is to know the long-term attractiveness, the profitability, and the competition. Don't forget that at the long run, we are looking for threats and opportunities. So if the industry, it is unattractive to the outsiders, is it good or bad? It's totally good to those who are inside. If the industry is unattractive to the outsiders, oh, this industry don't go, there's no money inside. Like charcoal sellers and charcoal manufacturers. People thought, oh, this one there's no money, it's not attractive. Don't go there, it's not unattractive. Oh, this one. So if that industry is unattractive to outsiders, in fact, those few people who remain in that industry, they become a key players and they will sweep up the entire profit away. So hence it becomes an opportunity. You see, some people save their money in their dirty clothes. Yes, it's because of this. Because what is unattractive, people reject it, right? And that is where the good things are. So some people hide their money in their dirty cloth, not the nice cloth, because they know that when someone comes, they will search for the nice cloth first before the dirty cloth. So unattractive to someone is an opportunity to us. But if the industry is attractive to the outsiders, it's a threat to the internal players. That means anybody can enter. A lot of people can enter that industry and come and compete with us. So take notice of that. And then profitability. Here, the profitability is about the number of players. The larger the number of players, the lower the profit that industry can obtain. The smaller the number, the higher. Then we go to competition. Now let's go to analyzing competition using 5 forces. Now, analyzing competition is an important part of what? Strategic position analysis. So to know your strategic position, analyzing your competition is very important. You assess the strength of the competition in the market. Check the magnitudes of the competition. So competitive analysis is very important. So let's go. Tell the examiner that competitive analysis is very important. It will help you to know the strength of the competition in that market. Check Vodafone. Check the telcos, the telecommunication. Check, look at them. Well, look at their competition. Is it still strong? So if you conduct competitive analysis, it will come out clear that, oh, the competition in that particular industry is very strong. So if an investor wants to enter into such industry, he must also go with aggressive. Or the competition in the pure water manufacturer industry or pure water manufacturing industries is not all that high. So in that case, oh, that one going there is not something that you have to think twice because the competition is very low. So that is that. Now, Porter offers a model or a framework for analyzing the strength of the competition in the market. So Michael Porter's 5 forces can also be used to analyze what? The strength of the competition. And that's what I did it here. The strength of the competition. That's the competition. That is the strength. Again, please, it is not a model that we use to analyze individual competitors, please. Or even the differentiate, like the differences in the firm. It is not used to assess why some firms perform better than the others. Take notice. We don't use competitive Michael Porter's 5 forces to analyze why other firms perform better. No, they are in the same industry, so ideally they should perform. We don't use Michael Porter's 5 forces to analyze why. So why EcoBank perform better than other banks? Why GCB perform better than other banks? No, Michael Porter's 5 forces is not used to analyze that. Take notice of that. Now, Michael Porter's 5 forces can be used to explain some industries are more profitable than the others. So you see, Porter is talking about the industry, not individual companies. So take note, I'm making you. Michael Porter is about what? The industry, not one company. We are not interested in one company. We are interested in the entire industry in which that company operates. That's all. So you don't use Porter on individual companies. Instead, it's on what? The entire industry. Then we can now single one company out. So if I am analyzing, let's say, the pharmaceutical industry, then I can now make a clear case that using, let's say, Pokupharma or NS Chemist as what? As the study. And then that is it. Then how you get it? So I have a question here. And the question stays this. So know why we are using the models. That's all. It's not like we are applying the models. So when do we use Porter's five forces and why Porter's five forces? Good. Porter's five forces should be used when we are analyzing the entire industry. Then we can now discern it into one. So you see, I want to make certain things clear here. Porter's five forces is not to a particular company, it's to the industry as a whole. Then we can now make a case, evidence from one company. So imagine I am analyzing the pharmaceutical industry, then picking one of them as a case study. It doesn't mean I'm not analyzing why that pharmaceutical industry is performing better than the other. Porter's five forces never says that. So if I'm analyzing, let's say, the airplane manufacturers, and I'm analyzing the industry, how that industry look like, then I use one of the companies, that's the Airbus, as a case study. It doesn't mean I am analyzing how or why Airbus is performing much more better than the other competitors in the industry. Please, my competitors five forces is not a competitor analysis. Take notice. It is not competitor analysis, it's industrial analysis. That's what we say, industry. But the industry is made up of individual companies. So when you are analyzing the entire industries, you can discern it down to a particular, its impact on a particular company within the industry. So you cannot tell us that I'm using Porter's five forces for one of the company against the other. All of them move with it. So you can use Michael Porter's five forces to analyze a particular company in the industry. But the idea, the rationale should not be why that company perform much more than the other. Porter doesn't say so. Porter is saying that whatever happened in the industry affects everybody within. So don't say that one is exceptional. You can be exceptional. That is, if you put certain things in place. That is why you see banking industry have their own challenge. But individually, some of the banks can put a very good strategy in place to mitigate the banking challenges. That is it. That is it. So that one is different side. So Michael Porter's five forces should be used when you are analyzing the industry. Or you can also analyze a company in relation to its industry. So let me list it down. When to use Porter's five forces and when not to use it. So let me see. Competitive analysis. So Porter's five forces. Five forces. When to use. When to use. When you are analyzing what? The entire industry. So analyzing the entire industry. Use Michael Porter's five forces. Number two, when analyzing a particular company in relation to its industry, and these questions are very tricky, to its industry. So I'm analyzing Pokupharma, one of the companies in the pharmaceutical industry, to the entire industry. That is all. I want to analyze one company in relation to the entire industry. When not to use Michael Porter's 5 forces. Take note, when not to use. When not to use Porter's 5 forces. Number one, when I do what you call competitor analysis, please. Competitor analysis, Porter 5 forces is a total deviation. Yes. Why? If analyzing why a company performs better than others in the same industry, don't use Michael Porter's 5 forces. Don't use 5 forces. So when to use Porter's 5 forces and when not to use Porter's 5 forces. When to use Porter's 5 forces, let me add one to it. Let me add one. Number 3, when to use Porter's 5 forces. If analyzing why a particular industry is profitable than the other, So why is the banking industry attractive than the farming industry? Michael Porter will help you. That's all. So I can put a question, the case study question. Why is the banking industry? If I put a case study there like this, why is the banking industry more attractive or unattractive? I can make it so that you will tell me whether the banking industry and then the farming industry, which of them is attractive. Use the relevant model, 25 marks. I'm done. Why the banking industry and farming industry? Which one? Banking industry and farming industry, which one is more attractive? Which one is more profitable? Which one is more like competitively they are ahead? Banking industry and farming industry. Tell us. Using the appropriate model. 25 marks. I'm done. That is where you must use Michael Porter's 5 forces. That one, you are analyzing a banking industry against another farming industry. So Porter 5 forces will help. Or you are arguing about why a particular company in a particular industry. So you are comparing the company to its industry. Porter 5 forces is not used to compare company to company. Please, we are begging you. You can only compare company to company if they operate in a different industry. Company to company only when they are operating at what? Different industries, in the sense that they are not competitors. In the sense that they are not what? Competitors. Take notice. Porter is what? Industry to industry analysis. I'm done. Let's move on. So before we start the analysis, we don't just go straight to conclusion that we are doing industrial analysis. You have to start from the basis, from the foundation, where it started from. You see where we started from? We start from customer, products, markets, consumer, and then we are now heading towards the final model. Yes. So it's part of this. It's part of the competitive analysis. Yes, the competitor analysis, yes. We have a model that we use to analyze that one. So it's part of the external environment. You get it? It's part of the external environment. So definitely we'll capture that competitor analysis. It's part of the external environment. So now let's go straight to our point. So we know when to apply Michael Porter's 5 forces, when not to apply it, and then move on with the game. So you left out competitor analysis as part of the external environment analysis. Why? No, it's part. Competitor analysis is part, just that we've not captured that yet. It should be part. Then come again with the question. Yes, the question is that I can give you 2 industries and ask you which one is more attractive. So when I ask you that, between the banking industry and then the farming industry, which one is more attractive and profitable? Use an appropriate model to discuss this. 25 marks, full stop. I can tell you that, the emerging industry, the airspace travel versus the traditional travel industry, that is the road, traveling by road. Analyze the competitive advantage of these two using an appropriate model. 25 marks. Still Michael Porter's 5 forces. 2 different industry. How we get it? 2 different industry. Analyzing them. So that's where Porter. So now let's start using Porter. Now Porter argues strongly. Michael Eugene Porter argues strongly that there are 2 factors that causes a particular industry profit, in fact, go high or come down. Porter argues strongly that there are 2 forces, there are 2 factors that affect a profitability of an industry. So that is it. Don't forget that before I started, I informed you what the Porter 5 forces talks about. There are 3. It talks about attractiveness and profitability. And with that of the profitability, Porter is saying that there are 2 factors, two factors that cause that. Number 1 is the competition in the industry and also sustainability, competitive advantage. That's all. So there are 2 factors that cause or that affect profitability of a company. So take notice of that. So why do some industry is more profitable than the other? Porter's 5 forces we use. And then if you want to explain why, why some companies have more profit than the other, Porter also argued that companies can have profit depending on what? The nature of their competition in the industry. If the competition is high, it affects their profit earning. So take notice. So third examiner that Porter argues strongly that profitability of a company. So profitability of a company in a particular industry. Company in a particular industry is affected by 2 things, by 2 factors. What are they? So please, these models that they have given us, it's not just about the models, though. It's surrounding environment, understanding the surrounding environment of the model. Before the model itself, you see, we've not even started the model itself. We are still under the surrounding. First, Porter argued that the nature of competition in the industry, the structure, industrial structure, and then the competition. So industry. So industry structure and competition. Yes, so and number two, competition and industry. Number two is sustainable competitive advantage. This one, this one, sustainable. You see, sustainable competitive advantage. That's all. This is a major problem. Why is it that you become a market leader for a while, but not for too long? Why? Why is that? Like you can be, let me even tell you you see, sometimes check some of the football clubs. Yes, I have little knowledge in terms of football, but this is common everywhere. There will be a club that will take over for a while, and then the next season it will perform bad, poor. So the question is, why is it that when they came on top, they never stood, in fact, they never remained there forever? Why? Why is it that companies, if you are on top, you don't remain there for several years? Definitely, you will decline, and somebody will occupy your position. Definitely, you decline. That is it. So Porter argues strongly that your profit will be affected to the extent of what? Sustainability of your competitive advantage. So if you structure your businesses to the extent that you have always what you call sustainable competitive advantage, forget your profit will be going up. And one thing about that is, one thing I've seen in one of the company is Apple Incorporation. They usually have what you call a sustainable competitive advantage, cutting edge technology. Don't go there. So profits, so it will affect their profit in the industry, in the phone industry, the telco, or the automobile or mobile manufacturers industry. Their profits in that industry, Apple Incorporation's profits have to be a bit high. They will remain profitable because they have what you call sustainable competitive advantage. Not just competitive advantage, you sustain it for some time. It's not easy for anyone to just come up and say that I'm come to eradicate, I'm come to be on top, I'm come to no. Those companies, their competitive advantage is for long. And that is all. So in a particular industry, before a single company can take over the profit, can make sustainable profits, then it means that you must have a sustainable what? Competitive advantage. I'm done. So now I can now start Michael Porter's 5 forces. So now that I've explained the purpose of 5 forces, please, the purpose of 5 forces, they are industrial attractiveness, industrial profitability, and competition, competitive analysis. So these are the 3 reasons why Porter introduced the model. And let's go. So now we are going to know how the industry can be attracted, how the industry can be profitable, and how the industry competes, how the individual companies compete in that industry, or how that industry competes successfully. And that's all. So on that note, I can now move into now. Porter argues strongly that this is called competitive strategy. So it's under competitive strategy. What are the 5 forces? The 5 forces, competitive strategy. So now let's discuss the 5 forces. 5 forces. I can now go straight and talk about the 5 forces because the foundation has been set clear. So now the 5 forces. 5. We call it competitive advantage or competitive strategy. Competitive strategy. Porter argued that there are 5 forces that make a particular industry more attractive, more profitable, and more competitive advantage. That's all. So you see, Porter argued that there are how many forces? There are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 forces that make a particular industry performance outperform than the other. Porter agrees strongly that certain industries, they are good to go. As soon as enter that industry, you are blessed already. You can never be poor in that industry. You can never be poor in that industry because that industry, because of that, these 5 factors that they have, they are always rich. You can never be poor in that industry. You can never lose in that industry. You always gain because certain factors are in the right position. So that's all. So what are the forces? Porter call it what? Competitive strategy. So the forces are, there are 5 forces in number. 5 of them. So let me see if I can arrange it well for you. That's 5 forces. This is the competitive rivalry. This is a competitive rivalry. Take notice. Competitive rivalry. That's the middle one. Competitive rivalry. Then the bargaining power of suppliers. So threat from new entrants. Threat of new entrants or threat from new entrants. New entrants. Some of the industry there is very attractive, and because of that, they are suffering. Yes. This one, I'm going to make some real life example. See, nobody should come and attack me, or please, this one's for teaching purposes. Why is it that parents normally protect their brilliant and beautiful children? The otherwise, no, that one, brilliant children, parents always protect them and say, oh, please. Yes, they protect them so that they get the best in future. But the stubborn ones, they'll not even mind you. If like go and roam. Next 10 years, if you come, fine. But as soon as you are very brilliant, parents try to. That is how the industry is. You see, if that industry is so good, it attracts. It attracts. So if that industry is really attractive to people, and there's no barrier to enter or to the entrance, any company at all can enter. And such industry is not profitable. So it's not profitable at all because everybody, that's pure water business. Pure water business. That's why the pure water business is not attractive because it doesn't have tight or expensive entry points. So that is that. Now, the threat of new entrants can also affect the other factors. So we can also have what we call threat from substitute. So let me make the arrow well. And to draw the arrow very well. And to draw this one very well. Please, if you're doing this, draw it this way. Avoid trouble. This one should be like this. It's rather affecting the competition. It's rather affecting how they operate. So threat from where? Substitute product. Threat from substitute product. Substitute product. Then yes, bargaining power. Of customers. And here, bargaining power of suppliers. So if an industry will be very attractive and profitable, Porter argues strongly that these are the 5 things that will cause that industry to be very attractive. Some of the industry don't need help. The industry is so good though. Some of the industry is so good. Like comedy. Comedy industry is so good though. Comedy industry is very good. If you like, cough and put it on YouTube. Just ordinary cough on comedy. You'll be attracted to it. Over millions of views. But put educative information there. Over several years, you don't even reach 10K views. That is it. You see how that industry looks like. So when everyone want to enter into such market, you think, let me enter where it's so attractive. It's so attractive to people. So that is it. So now let's start. I'm going to pick each of the 4s and deal with it. Please, if you pick in exams, there are certain things we want you to say. So say the same thing to the examiner, and then you are free to go. You see how all these forces affect the competition in the industry. All these forces affect how that industry competes successfully. So I mentioned where all of them, all the forces are pointing to. So that means all the other 4 forces come together and destroy the 5th force. Take notice of the diagram. Now let's go. First, I'm going to talk about what you call threat of potential entrant. Now, when the competition in an industry or market is strong, firms must supply their product or service at a competitive price and cannot charge excessive prices and make abnormal profit. It does not exist. Where competition is very, very strong, excessive profit doesn't exist. Yes, it's true. Where competition is very strong, boot for boot. Like competitor A does 2, the other competitor also does 2. Where competition in a particular industry is so strong, to the extent that there's nothing you can do to make your name. Nothing. Forget it. Forget that. You see, when that industry competition is so strong, when you make a very powerful advert, your competitor will come and cut across that advert and bring his own. And then someone also bring their own. So at the end of the day, everybody is like trying to come on top. So that one, so everything, the competition is very high. So to the extent that one person can never stay on. When you stay on for 3 minutes, other person come here. Then you go back and come. So the industry is like this. Now, everybody come and go. Everybody come and go. No one can come and stay because the competition, if you come, somebody come and somebody come and brusco to you somewhere. And you also come and brusco to someone. Somebody come also brusco to you. That's how the industry is. So you can never make abnormal profit. Super profit, never. It doesn't exist. Super profit exists in the industry or competitions where the competition is what? Low. So where the industry is low, where the competition is very low, you see, nobody even have time to do advert. So it's like a one village driver. The entire village, he's the only driver. There's no competition. So when he come on top like this, 10 years, nobody will bring his hand down. He's the one that can tell you that, madam, this, where we are going, I'm charging you $155. If you pay, we go. If you don't pay, only one driver in town, and it is raining. Imagine what will happen. So that is the idea we are creating. That when the case study, the prison is being produced, check the industry, whether this industry is the one that competition is very strong. If the competition is very strong, then don't let your competitor sleep. Don't let the company in question sleep. Don't let him force also to earn abnormal profit. Doesn't exist. That's all. Hey, when competition is very low, tell your company in question, don't force yourself. Don't force. Don't force. Your customers will know. That's why they say that those that know me will come. Don't force yourself. Your customers will come to you. At the end of the day, what belongs to you will come to you. You see, those people are coming from a point that where there's no competition. Anybody that sit down quiet, don't do anything. If it is yours, it will come to you. They have a mindset that competition is very low. And then those people that also think like, they said, if I don't fight for it, I won't get it. They also think like competition is also strong. These are two different perceptions in strategy. Do you get that? So we are done. So now let me pick each of them and do justice to them. So now let's see what Porter said about the model. So I'm starting from threat of new entrants. So now let's see threat of new entrants. Threat of new entrants. Porter argues that one of the factors that affect one, attractiveness, two, the industry profit, three, the competition, is the what? Is a threat of new entrants. If we have an industry where everybody can back in and back out, back in, back out, back in, back out, such industry will never be attractive. It will not be attractive for the internal members. But we have industry. Even before you go and sign a contract, $55 million is gone. Nobody will go in. Mining firms, from the day we were born, they told us that there's money in gold, oil, yes, than water. How many people have visited that enter into the large scale mining? No. It's because of what? The entrance. To enter into certain industry, there's a lot of barriers. So when ICA release the pricing, all what you have to do is that check that industry that the company belongs to. Is there any barriers? Is there any free entry, free exit? Is there anything that will make that industry more attractive to the external world? That will be at a loss, at the expense of the internal members. Is there anything that will serve as disturbance barrier to those who are coming in, so that it will be what? It becomes very good news. It will increase the profit. The more industry is attractive, the lesser their profitability. Take note. The more you are attractive, the lesser the profit, because the more you are attractive, a lot of people come. A lot of people come. People will come in, they will come in, and when they come to share the same profit. But if that industry is unattractive, very profitable. Unattractive, very profitable. People don't like it. One or two reasons. They don't like going there. So it's like only few people who are in that industry, champions, taking over. So that is it. So now, Porter argues that one of the forces is the threat that a new competitors will enter the market and add to the competition. So the examiner, the threat that new competitors will enter the market and add to competition. They are not coming to joke, oh, please. Nobody enter industry to joke. So if you're in the industry and then somebody enter and say, oh, this one, no, don't worry. He's come to just, please, nobody enter industry and joke. So the threat that new competitors will enter the market and add to the competition. That is what Porter argued. That the threat that new what competitors, players, new players will come on the field. Will enter the market and do what? Add. That's where, in fact, that side is where it wicked me. And add to the competition. You see? Add to the competition. Nobody enter the industry and come and joke. Nobody. Especially the new people that are coming. They are even aggressive. They enter the market with aggressiveness. Full aggressive. They enter the market. Look at how Target Professional Council, we enter the market. Aggressive. We are taking it. So we enter to the market, and as soon as we hit the market, and then we segment, and that's all, you see? So no one enters the market and come and sleep. So the existing companies in the industry, as soon as the new competitor enters the market, it reduces their profit, no matter what. It reduces the profit. And it increases the competition. It makes the competition very strong. Very, very, very strong. Imagine Target Professional Consult maintain our current strategy for the next 3 years. It will raise the teaching industry to a particular standard, a particular limit, that all the other companies will start following. Yes, that's if this current strategy is being pushed forward. So that's what Porter said. Again, Porter argues strongly that the new entrant might be attracted by high profit and by the existing competitors to enter the market. So Porter argued that the new entrant will be attracted by what? By profit, high profit. And the new entrant will try to establish a share of market in a large enough to earn profit. And one of the way they can do that to gain market share is to enter with what? To compete on price. So how will somebody enter? So Porter argues that. So Porter argues that the new entrants are mostly, so say the new entrants are mostly attracted by what? By profitability of the industry. That's what Porter said. They are mostly attracted by the profitability of the industry. Good. And when they enter, they try to capture market share. I told you that nobody enter industry and come and sleep. Like the way people say that I never came to the city to just come and tourist or watch the sea. I came to work. I came to earn something and go home with something. So the same way, any company enter the industry and I try to achieve what? Something. By what? How? So company enter markets and compete with price. So tell the examiner that one way of gaining market share will be to compute on price. So the new entrant. So one way, tell the examiner, one way in which the new entrant to gain market share. A market share. The only way to gain a market share is to compete on price. That's all. And charge lower prices than the existing competitors. And charge lower prices. Lower prices than competitors. Good. They can also do that by quality. They can also do that by what? By offering quality products. By quality products and services. So by quality products and services. And that is it. Quality products and services. So that's all. So one way in which the new competitor, new entrants will normally gain it. So when like have you seen when COVID-19, the virus enter your body, what they do? They gain competitive, they gain market share in your body, they dominate in your body. They start to destroy certain parts of your body so that they can take dominion. The same thing when a new entrant enters the market, they try to gain market share by reducing prices, by confusing the existing competitors and gain. So anytime, so as an existing player, when a new entrant enter, know how you can also arrange. So when they fire prices, you must also fire back prices. That one, yes. You see a strong competition between Coke and Pepsi. When Pepsi were competing successfully on price, and Coke tried to fire back. See what happened in 2015-17, when Pepsi stayed still 1 city, and Coke tried. Coke was by then 2 cities, and Coke reduced the price. Even this is what existing competitors, they are fighting on price. When the new one enter, reduce the price. Again, Michael Porter argues strongly that the significance of the threat, however, or how easy or how difficult for the new competitors to enter into the market, that's the cost of entry to the new markets. So it can be a factor. So factors that affect an attempt to enter into the markets, they are the cost to enter. Mining firms. Everybody is attracted to gold. I'm not too sure if I show gold in classes, you'll be annoyed. You'll be very attractive, but the cost of obtaining, the cost of entering the gold market, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. I watched some documentary. They were mining gold. They mine, they have something small. When they showed to me, I said, so the thing you've done the whole month, this is a small thing. They said, what target? You don't know what you're talking about. This small thing. I said, I saw some yellow, small things, yellow, small. They're not even big. I said, so because of these small things, look at how you update yourself. These small things is a target. You don't know what you're talking about. If you know, you have removed your hat, your nose mask, your spectacle, you are in the pit. I said, okay, no problem. I've heard you. So the question is, there are certain factors that may affect the entrance. One of them is the cost involved. If the cost is so high, the one that are in the existing competitors, they should be happy. So the few individuals who are able to enter into mining, they should be happy that it will take several years before someone else will gather money and enter the industry. But those who are in that industry that is not that expensive, they shouldn't be happy. We are coming there. It's like now, you see certain industry, like the entertainment industry, like the comedy. Hey, just get a small smartphone, get a nice voice, and start the comedy. That's all, you are free to go. That's all, you are free to go. Just get a very nice camera like this one and start. Yeah. Yeah. Start like this. Yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Start 7 times. You've made your comedy already. Do you get that? Other industries not like that. The cost involved, the machinery, the plant, there are a lot of things. So Porter argue that it's all based on what? The cost. And then the cost of entry into the market. Their cost practically make it difficult. And they are called what? Barriers to entry. So all these I've explained is called what? Barriers to what? Entry. So whatever makes it very difficult for someone to enter the market is called what? Barriers to entry. So today, let's learn certain barriers that are there that make someone very difficult to enter into our market. But the teaching industry, no. So let's go entry barriers. So third examiner, barriers. So they are factors that affect barriers of entry. Barriers of what? Entry. It can be low or it can be high. Take notice. High or low. So it can be high versus low. And we'll talk about that. So it can be high or it can be what? Low. Take notice. And when the barrier to entry is high, what does it mean? So when it is high, what happened? When it's low, you know it already. When the barrier is low, it means that the new entrants can come in without much difficulty. And the firms that are already in the market are likely to keep price very low. So the strategy is that when the entry barrier is very low, the existing industry must keep their prices low. So obviously the pure water business, the entry is very low. So it makes sure that the existing parties, they have to reduce their price or they have to keep the price very low so that when anybody comes, they check the low price and they'll become unattractive. So, this thing that they will suffer in manufacture, go through all the processes, it's just 50 pesos per sachet. So let me leave it. Let me go and find cars and sell at least. Car, if I do what, I can put 5,000 cities as profit. Much more than the pure water, 50 pesos. The bender, when will I get 50 pesos? 50 pesos, 100,000. So that is how it is. Again, if the barrier is high, it makes it difficult for the new competitors to enter the markets unless less pressure to cut their cost. There are a number of factors that may create high barrier of entry. So let's go. Number of factors that create high barrier of entry. So factors that create high barrier of entry. So factors that affect the barrier of entry. So the factors are one, there are many. This one you can type some, type plenty. Economies of scale. Economies of scale. Some of the industry, unless you produce more before you can get profit. So such industry is not attractive. The average cost reduces when they produce more. So average cost reduces when you produce more. So some of the industry you can only earn when you produce more. The larger you produce, more profit you get. And you see, a new company can never produce more. You see, new company can never produce more. So it means that it will be unattractive to the new company because I cannot produce more. And the more I produce, the lesser the average cost. You see, the more you are producing, the more the fixed cost becomes smaller. And the more the fixed cost component becomes smaller, the more the average cost reduce. And the more the average cost reduce, the higher your profits. So the new companies know all this stuff. And because of that, they cannot compete successfully with this, because they can't. And always the giant companies can always compete on economies of scale because they can produce high. They can. So when somebody is farming on just 5-acre land, somebody is farming on what? A whole community. A whole community. So imagine. So that's number one. What creates barriers? Some of the industry, you must sell more. Good. So some of the industry, you must what? Sell more before you can make it. So such industry, it discourages people that have to sell many. Like pure tie industry, they normally run on economies of scale. Pure tie industry. It's an industry that if you don't sell more, you won't gain. Yes. And the biggest firm can achieve this. Yeah. So the young firms cannot. Capital intensive or capital investment requirements can also cause a barrier. Capital investment. Yes. Number three, operating license can also cause a barrier. Operating license, like the drug manufacturers, sometimes the existing company will make it very difficult, will make the license very difficult for the new people, for the new entrant to acquire. Then access to distribution channels, very important. Yes, it's true. Access to distribution channels. The product you produce, so level the one that you consume. Distribution channels. You can produce, but you don't have avenue to sell your product. It becomes very difficult. You see, the new entrant will not have what? A lot of distribution channels. It's a new person coming on board. He doesn't know anybody. But the existing competitors, they have captured all the main joints, all the wholesale points, all the malls in the country. Their products are there. So if you are coming, imagine you want to produce, let's say, liquid soap. Liquid soap. Hey, the giant companies in town, they have captured all the malls. They've captured all the malls, all the distribution centers. Now, if you are individual or you are now going to enter into the liquid soap industry, what distribution centers are you going to create? So you have to create your own. Now, you have to create distribution. So if the distribution center are not available or distribution channels are not available to the new entrant, it will discourage him. Do you get that? Good. So that is that. So these are the factors you have to consider. And then time to become established. Yay. Another factor. Time to become established. Time. Time to become established. Time that will take you to establish is very important. Time to become established. Another factor is to know-how. Know-how, that's the skills. Know-how, technical skills. You can also equally talk about switching costs. And then the license, you can also put government regulations inside there. License and government regulation. like the banking industry. It is not an attractive industry in terms of government regulation. There's a high barrier. Look at their minimum capital requirement. I don't know for your country, the minimum capital requirement, but I know for my country, it's 400 million choppable currency, 400 million of our currency. So 400 million cities. So before you can enter into the banking industry, plus other assets, your stated capital alone should be 400 million, plus other assets. So at the end of the day, how many companies can operate to that level, can generate? So the regulations in the industry deter a lot of what? A lot of companies to enter. And reporting, tight reporting system deter them, and then that's all. So I'm done for the threat of new entrants. So when I give you the case study, analyze these factors in the case, and that's all. The next one is the threat of substitute. Threat of substitute. Now, there's always an issue when we are defining substitute. Let's get it clear here. Threat of substitute. Threat of substitute. Now, when you say threat of substitute, you see, substitute product. You see, when substitute products, customers can switch fairly easily, buying alternative products, buying alternative. Now, please, substitute products are like this. Please take notice of the substitute. Two different industries producing similar product that can offer similar purpose. Please. People thought if it says substitute product, it's like the same industry. No. Substitute products are produced by different industry, but it can offer the same benefit. Now, let's come to the healing. If someone is sick, the person can go to 3 places and get healed. All of them are different. All of them are different industry. Industry number one, when somebody is not feeling well, the person can run to. The person can go to what? Go for, pray for me, everything. The person can go to the Christian world, or the Muslim world, or the religion, the religious body can also heal. Again, the person can either go to the hospital and they'll apply medicine. The last one, the person can go to a traditional healers association. So this is a typical example of what? Substitute products. So whatever the traditional healer can offer, the religious body can also offer. At the same time, hospital can also offer. So now when the person is not feeling well, the person is thinking, should I go to hospital? Or I should go to the religious leader? Or I should go to the traditional healer? So that is it. That's what we call substitute product. Now, how will this cause issue? The issue is that if we have an industry that have what we call a lot of substitute. You see, there's substitute too. We have what we call close substitute. Close, related. We have what we call close and related substitute. Close and related substitute. Take notice. Very close. It can serve the purpose. Very close. Imagine I'm very thirsty. I need water to drink. I searched, I couldn't find water. But I found out coconut. And I drank coconut water to just substitute for the taste, or the quench the taste that was experienced. See you. So this one, is it close or related? Some of the substitute are unrelated. Here, Michael Porter argued that the threat from substitute varies from market and industry. Yes, every industry and their substitutes. Every industry and their substitute. So take notice of that. It varies from industry to industry. Now, plastic containers and bottles became a significant substitute for what? Glass containers and bottles. So take notice. So the plastic, they are now going for what? Glass. So glass bottle and plastic. You see? The broken bottles and plastic. Broken bottles and plastic. Have you seen that? So substitution. So that is what we are trying to argue. And here the substitute, let's say word processor and personal computer. You see, typewriter and computer, all of them. You see, typewriter. When computer came, the market for typewriter was destroyed. That's all. So I'm done with the substitute. Here the substitute, like coffee and tea. Here, factors that affect substitute products. One, availability of what? Related substitute. So factors that affect. One, availability of close or related substitute or related products. Some of the industry, there's no close or related. Some of the industry does not have substitute. Tell me an industry that does not have a substitute. It's very difficult to. Industry, football, there's a substitute. If I don't watch football or soccer, what do? I can go to volleyball, table tennis, and rest. Another factor that we can argue strongly is the switching cost. What is switching cost? You see, imagine any day that I'm not feeling well, any day that someone is not feeling well, the person goes to the hospital and the person gets healed. One day the person fell sick and said, this time around there, let me use a substitute. Let me go for traditional healer and see. Now, the switching cost, compare the switching cost. Sometimes when you go to the hospital, you don't normally incur huge transport costs because the hospital is very close to your house. Or the doctor even knows you. So when you go, he doesn't even join queue. So as long as you're going to the hospital, you phone call the doctor that, doctor, as we learn in primary school or the basic school, they say, mama, somebody is sick. Yes, call the doctor quick. I forgot that poem. Yes. So you can even call the doctor, no queue. You enter, they check everything, you come back home. Yes, protocol stuff, no problem. You are comparing the stress involved coming to sit in front of a new traditional healer, asking you several questions for you to answer. They are now going to open another secret for another healer again. I'll not go anywhere. Let me stick to this doctor now. So if you think the cost of switching from one product to another product is very high, for example, it is alleged that most of the soft drink manufacturers, they normally put what you call allergy into the drink. So at the end of the day, when you take it too much, when you drink just first second, you become addicted to it. And every day you'll be drinking. Every day you'll be drinking. Now, the issue is that now a time will come, you can never stop. it will cost you high to stop taking such drink. So if the switching costs become very high, you always stick to it. So that is what we are talking about. So take notice of that. Switching cost. If the switching cost is high, it affects the substitute. Now, basically, that is how Porter argued to us that if the substitute products, it doesn't cause the consumer to change, they will change. They will switch right now. They will switch right now. Imagine you are at a bus stop waiting for a bus, a taxi, or a trotro. And then the first one came, they are quoting prices that are not okay. So look, this is not the only bus in the country. So yeah, even if it is the only bus, I'll jump on horse and go to my destination. So if the switching cost is very at the bus stop there, it's easy to switch between cars because there are a lot of cars available. And here there are a lot of cars available. It means that there are a lot of what substitute products available. So all this is centered on what? The availability of what? Related product. So if there's an industry where that industry does not have any close substitute, please tell me, let me go and operate there. It means that whatever you are doing, either the customer have to come to that industry or does not have it at all. He can never get the same satisfaction elsewhere. In that case, it's like an industry that what no one can compete, or industry that they don't have a close substitute, and that is all. Now let me go to the bargaining power. Again, Porter argues strongly that long-term profitability may be affected by the bargaining power of the suppliers. So what is bargaining power of suppliers? Let me explain it shortly and run away. Bargaining power of suppliers. Michael Porter argues strongly that, you see, if in some of the industry, suppliers have what we call a very high considerable power. When this occurs, they may charge high prices. Number one is the health industry. The health industry, the suppliers have high bargaining power, too much. Small sickness, they are charging you high. Small thing, and because you are not feeling well, that time you can't even talk well. So you can't challenge them more. You can only comply. Any money they charge their family, they will pay. So that one you can't. You can't, like, you want to be healed, and you want to be healed, and then they know that at that time you have no bargaining power, and they push on you. So we have industry like that. We have industry that the suppliers have high considering power. Yes. So take notice of that. And they may charge high prices. In that industry, high prices is inevitable. If the supplier have high bargaining power, charging high becomes what? Inevitable. And then that is all. So take notice of that. And then we move with the game. Take notice of that. As a result, profitability in the industry be what? Here, let me make certain things clear. You see, if the industry, the supplier have considerable high power, when this occurs, that industry, it is not profitable. Yes, that industry have low profit, and the market is very competitive. Let me explain why I'm saying that. Industry where the supplier, who is the supplier? Let me ask first, supplier. Those people that give us the raw materials. You see? Yes. What is the supplier? In the health industry, the suppliers are who? One, the workers, the staff. The staff of hospital is part of their supplier. They supply their skills so that the hospital can get what? Get stuff. Two, suppliers are those who give us our raw materials. Three, suppliers are those that give us what we call a support staff, like IT service, marketing, HR, and what? Accounting services. These are the suppliers. Now, when they have high bargaining power, what happens? It reduces the profit. Like the pure water industry. The pure water industry is not profitable because the one that supply them one of their major product, the major material in the pure water manufacturing is the rubber that they use. They call it roll, the rubber. That rubber, the supplier always have high bargaining power. Some of the rubber, they have to mold it in China before they can even ship it into the country. Even in your own country, how much does it cost you? Now that they are going to mold it in China, when they come, as it is, you can't complain. So any industry that the supplier have high bargaining power, that industry is not profitable. They have a low profit because the supplier can take the profit at any time. The thing that is 20,000 is supplied to you at 45. You also buy it at 45. You can't raise the price. You can't go above. So the supplier is taking all your profit away. And that is what we are discussing. That certain industry, the supplier have what? High bargaining power. Here, Michael Porter argues strongly. Porter argues strongly that suppliers can exert high bargaining power over participants in an industry by threatening to raise prices or reduce quality. So the bargaining power of suppliers is always automatic. They can threat that I'm going to increase the price. Of course, we are going to increase the price. Let me give you one typical example. In a law firm or accounting firm, good. Accounting firm or law firm, where the lawyers or the accountants that come together to do the work, they say, they told the firm owner that, please, we are not going to take that money. We are increasing it, or else we are reducing the number of hours we come to work. We take or we go. You see? So suppliers, especially service industry, is the #1 industry on this earth where the suppliers have the highest power. Yes. When the lecturer leaves the school, who come and teach? The school will come down. You can get someone to replace, but not as to quality as the previous. You get that? Or maybe you can get more quality than the previous. The question is, always in the service industry, the suppliers have higher bargaining power, and they always threat to increase price or reduce quality. The two things, though, suppliers are always compete on two things. One, increase in price. Two, reduction in quality. It's like, I'll not give you quality product again. I'll give you the inferior ones. If you go to some markets, you go to some market to go and buy something, Circle. They'll tell you that, okay, madam, this one is imitation, copy. This is the original. Original, the price is high. Imitation or the copy, the price is not high. So which one do you want? You want the copy or imitation or the original? Look at it. If you want, you see, so the person is computing on two things against you. One, the quality. Two, the price. The quality may be expensive. The cheap one may be cheaper, but the quality will be reduced. Not the same quality. So that's what Porter argued. So please tell the examiner that Porter strongly argued that suppliers exert unnecessary force on the entity due in two ways: an attempt to increase the price or reduce quality. That is what Porter argued. So take note of that. Now, powerful suppliers can thereby squeeze the profit out of the industry. Yeah, so in the industry will not unable to recover the cost increase in its own pricing. So take notice, that's all. We also have industry where the company have high bargaining power of the suppliers. Typical example is the farming industry. It's very sad that a farmer will go and farm tomato, farm plantain, farm onions. The market woman will go to the farm and go and buy it cheap. Even sometimes they have nowhere to sell their farm produce and it starts getting rotten. Access to manufacturing plant to process this is becoming difficult in some part of the regions. So at the end of the day, hey, the suppliers are begging, please. If you buy one, I'll give you 10 for free. In that case, the suppliers have what? Have a low bargaining power. It normally happens if that product is not quality. And two, if that product is readily available, like common product. See, you can never boss on common product that everybody have. If your product is unique, that is where you can use to claim names. If you have a product that is very unique, that is where you can have high bargaining power. But if your product is not unique, you can't have the high bargaining power. So take notice of all this goals. So that's the bargaining power. And it will affect your supply chain. Now let's go to the next one. And I'm almost getting to the tail end of the story. The last but one is the bargaining power of what? Customers. Yes, some of the industry, the customers exert high power of the entity. You see, if the industry, let me go back small. If the supplier have high bargaining power, it's a threat to the industry because their profit will go low. Likewise, if the entity have high bargaining power over suppliers, it means that suppliers have low bargaining power. In that case, it's an opportunity. Yes, because the entity can make abnormal profits from the supplier. And that is all. Now let's go to what? Bargaining power of customers. Yes. Customers too can sometimes exert unnecessary pressure and necessary force on the entity. Buyers can reduce the profitability of an industry when they have considerably high power. So if customers have high power, they can reduce the profit. Powerful buyers are able to demand lower prices or improve product specification as condition of buying. Powerful buyers can tell you that, please, madam, I want my food to be served in a bowl like this. If not, I won't eat here again. Powerful buyer will tell that, madam, you see, anytime if you don't add ginger, raw ginger, I'll never eat here again. Powerful buyer will now specify how the product should be, or else it won't come. That's powerful buyers. And they always exert force on the entity. And they demand for low prices, improve quality. Madam, if you don't improve here, you won't see me again. Madam, if you don't reduce the price, I will not buy it. That is powerful buyers. And if you are in an industry where the buyers have power, it's a threat. It's a bad news to the industry. It means that all the profit can be given out to the customers. Yes. Customers take all the profit. Entity takes least. So take notice that customers can take all the profit away. Now, in many countries, the buyer power is the power of the supermarkets. As the buyers, in fact, they normally buy in the wholesale or the market for many consumers. So you see, the buyer's power is in the supermarket, the malls. It is the malls that have the buyer's power, it's not the individual. You see, you are going to buy just one sachet water from the mall, and you are going to now tell them that they should produce this quality or not. No, you don't have power. Most of the institution, the buyer's power is in the hands of the mall, the supermarkets, the giants, the wholesale giants. Because the retailers, you are only going to buy one and you are making noise that the product is not good. You are just buying one. What if you are buying cartons? What if you are buying a lot? So in that case, there, you tell us that they should come and manufacture the goods in your house, right? So that is how it is. Now, the buyer's power is always transferred towards the wholesaler or the depot. They call it depot, and that is it. Again, they are able to force down prices from the supplier's product for resale, yes. So the malls will now force a reduction in price from the manufacturers and they move on with the game. And when this happens, the profit margin in the manufacturing industries are very low. So if you have where the buyer's representatives are always putting the pressure down, like the malls. You see the malls, their profit they made is very small. They make small profit. That's why they always encourage selling more. They also operate in the economies of scale. The more they sell, the more profit they get, and they move on with the game. Almost at the tail end. Porter suggests that buyers might particularly be powerful in situations when. So factors that affect the bargaining power of buyers. Number one, the volume of purchases when the buyers buy more. Imagine one customer, when he comes, he buys everything. When that customer enters the shop, we tell the people that, please, we are sorry, we are come to do inventory count. Everybody should go out. It's a big lie. Their biggest customer is in, and it's likely to buy everything. You are just come to buy one, wasting their time. Go out. Let them, they'll give you a nice excuse that they have some emergency, so everybody should walk out. It's a big lie. They have gotten a hint that a bigger customer is coming to buy everything. The person will even argue on price. So, good. So, number one, Porter argued the factors that affect. One is the volume of purchases by that buyer. Volume of purchases. If that buyer buy a lot, and then when the products of rival suppliers are largely the same, so undifferentiated products can also affect undifferentiated products. What is undifferentiated products? Product that looks similar. Product that is almost the same. Undifferentiated products. Easy. That one the buyer will have. If you have differentiated products, that one buyer will not have the power over the entity. And then cost of switching from one supplier to another, switching cost. And then when profit of the buyer are low, it also affects, and then a whole lot of factors. Now let's go to the last point for the day. That's the competitive rivalry. That's the last point. Competitive rivalry. Now, Michael Porter argues strongly that competition within the industry is determined by what? Competition within the industry is determined that by the rivalry. Rivalry simply means fight. So within the existing industry, the competition within the industry is being determined by the fight between the industry. That two industries are fighting. So the competition will depend on what? How they fight. Some of the industry, they fight all, in fact, when it comes to fighting in an industry, it's very common. So the competition will depend on how the entity fights. When I say fight, not like they are fighting like this, how they organize their operations to compete. Yes. So can we check it from the political parties? Yes. Strong competition forces rival firms to offer their product to customers at lower price and relative to the product quality. And this keeps the profitability very low. So if the competition is very strong, profit is low. That is it. That one, nobody stay on top. Like I told you, when there's a strong competition, profit is reducing. Like we did first. Porter argued first that when competition, so when somebody, no one stay on top, you get somebody come in. So at the end of the day, you don't, the profit doesn't go to one person. And that is all. And now Porter suggested that the competitor rivalry among a strong industry in any of the following. So the competition will be very strong if when the rival firms are roughly the same size and economic strength. Yes, if they are of the same size, like Coke and Pepsi, if there are two companies where they are of the same size, yes, it makes the competition very strong. Imagine the industry, all of them of the same size. You see, you cannot compete with your bosses. You can't compete with giant companies. So if there are industry that they are giant companies and as well as they are small companies, always the giant companies bully the small ones. So at the end of the day, if all the companies have the same strength, the same size, then no one should bully the other. Everybody, no one should bully the other. Do you get that? So Porter argues strongly that to the extent of what? Competition, it will be affected by what? It will be affected by the firms if they are of the same size or economic strength. And when there are many competitors, the number of firms in the industry also affects the competition. The larger the number, the stronger the competition. The lower the number, the lower the competition. Typical example is the telco industry. You see that the telco industry, the competition is not that too strong. Because there are just three telco lines that we have. MTN, Vodafone, and Airtel Tigo. And let's add Glo to it, making 4. That is it. And then when there's only one growth in sales demand, when the sales is like in one party, all of this can be a factor, a sign of what? Strong competition. When they are undifferentiated product, yes, it also affects competition. Your product is similar to my product. That one, you can even sell someone's product for. So strong competition. Okay, so basically that is it. So strong competition, then move on with the game. So strong competition. At the end of the day, strong competition will be affected by undifferentiated products when the products are the same. And when supply capacity can only be increased in large incremental amounts, this will affect the competition. And then the rest. So at the end of the day, we are done with the game. Maybe I'll give you a table. I'll send a table. Now, let me go straight to why you need this. In your exams, you might be required to use 5 forces model to analyze the strength of competition in a particular market, which is the subject of the case. subject of the case study scenario. Please, to do this, you should always take each of the 5 forces in turn. Each of them, you take it and consider how it might be applied to that particular case study or scenario. To take notice of them. And then that is all. So at the end of the day, I'm done with the next one. You're going to do the life cycle model, which came last meeting. So our next meeting, I'll do life cycle model. This is part of the industrial analysis. If you have a question, can you ask before I bring today's class to a successful end? What test 5 forces is gone to the grave. You are done. All right, so if there are no questions, permission to end here. And we move on with the game. Question time, please. If you have not registered with us, can you do so? Coming 6, we are starting. Full, yeah. So join us. You can put your questions in the comment box. I'll pick it up and then do the needful.